أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد عبده ورسوله. I seek refuge in Allah from the rejected enemy Shaitan. It's Allah's name, the most merciful benefactor, the most merciful redeemer. All praise is due to Allah alone. Praise Him and seek help from Him. And I bear witness there is no deity except Allah, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is His messenger to mankind. We're running a little bit behind today because our brother Imam had a couple of problems, couldn't get here. He's still en route, really. And so, as Imams, we always come prepared with this moment. And if we are not here, if Imam is not here, then one of you should be prepared for this moment. Because this is the Jumuah goes on. And I see here in the audience there's already a couple of prepared people to take this role if necessary. But we want to look at the Quran. We want to look at the month in which we are in now, Ramadan. This is your month, your time, each individual. It's looked on as an individual opportunity. Everyone has an opportunity to bond with their Lord, with their Creator. This is the time. Allah doesn't need the time to bond with everybody because He's never overloaded. But we do need the time to bond with Allah because we stay so busy doing things we think that are very important all during the year. So we don't take that time that this month avails us. Allah says in the Quran, in Surah Al-Baqarah, talking about the Quran, He says, "Dali kitabu la rayb fi huda lil muttaqin." He's talking about, this is the book, the Quran. In it is guidance sure for those who have taqwa, who have respect, who have the desire for clean living, who have the desire to be of value to humanity. The book was revealed during this month. It was revealed during this month, during the month of Ramadan, to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and indirectly to humanity. It was revealed to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but it was for humanity. And the important aspect to know about this month is that how important a role you play in this month, you, and what a role this month plays in your life. When Allah revealed the Quran to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, He revealed it so that the Prophet, not only did he receive a message from Allah to begin the Quran, he received a command. At the same time, he was missioned to be Rasulullah. At the same time, he had received some information from Allah. He says, "Iqra bismi rabbika al-qalaq, qalaqa insan." That was the first ayat that was revealed. Iqra is a command. Iqra, it tells you to do something. It's a command. So in order for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to receive this, he had to be not necessarily in the motion to do something, but now he was put into the motion to do something. He was put into the motion to say, Iqra, proclaim, read, pronounce. He couldn't just keep that. That's something you can't keep. So he put him in the mold to be the messenger, his messenger to humanity. Iqra bismi. He says, and tell them, say, pronounce, with Allah. He didn't say with Allah, he said with your Lord. Bismi Rabbi. He used Rabbi as first introduction. This is his introduction to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he introduced himself as Rabbi, the Lord of the worlds. the sustainer of all systems of knowledge, the one who causes and allows things to grow and develop. Nothing grows and develops in this creation without Allah's will or his allowing it to do so. He either allowed it to do so or he wills it into existence. Rabb. So he introduces himself to Prophet Muhammad in that language, in that tone. Then he says, Kalaka. That which he nourishes and allows to grow, he created. Kalaka is creator. He created. He created that. He created this whole universe and all the stars and galaxies that evolve in this space we call a universe. In the space we call the darkness out there. Every inch of it, every motion, Allah created it. This is what he's saying. Khalaqa. Then he comes back. After he says he created, he didn't stop there, because that includes man. If you listen to it, really say, Khalaqa. He's the creator. So everything that existed, he created. But he wanted to highlight it and pinpoint it and make certain that man understood and make certain that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam understood. He said, Ikra bismi rabbikal khalaqa khalaq insan. You see the explanation point behind that? He's already saying he created, but then he says created insan, man, the thinking creature. The one who he has created to change all that you see in this creation. Now I know it sounds pretty big, but that's the power of what Allah had created when he says insane. Insane, the mind. The creature who had the mind to change the physical world. The creature who had the mind to change what you see, to bring in new things in existence that were in the earth that were formerly not known or not seen. But this creature called insane had this power. So he's allowing Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to get a grasp on this, what Allah is talking to him about. Then he went on to say he taught man the use of the pen and so forth and so on. But more importantly, what the Quran is serving. The Quran is serving as a guide not only to humanity, but it's serving as a counseling service. It's serving as counseling to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's there to counsel him, instruct and counsel him. There's a section in the Quran where Allah, that we mentioned here last Jumu'ah, where Allah instructs Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to follow the millah of Ibrahim. That's an instruction. Ibrahim, Allah says in the Quran, talking to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's telling them the history of man. He's telling the prophet the history of man. He's telling the prophet how man evolved and how man sustains himself. He's telling what man can do to better himself. He's telling the prophet all of the things the prophet needs to know and be able to convey to humanity. So he instructs the prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, follow the millah of Ibrahim, the way of Ibrahim. Because that's the deen qiyam, the straight way. And in giving the prophet that language, that understanding, it missioned him. See, because in the Quran, Allah mentions that Ibrahim is a ummah. Ibrahim is a ummah. Now, whether you understand that concept in terms of Ibrahim being one individual who represents an ummah, or whether you understand that concept of a ummah, a people, a society, and Allah calls them by the name of Ibrahim because of what they're doing and what they're serving and what they are looking to accomplish. Now, whether you understand that either way, the fact of the matter is that Allah calls Prophet Ibrahim an ummah. And he instructs the prophet, our prophet, his Rasulullah, his message, to follow the way of Ibrahim. So now that instructs the prophet on what he has to do. He has to build an ummah. He has to build a society. He has to build an ummah that's fashioned on what he's found in the Quran, what Allah has shown him in the Quran. He has to establish an ummah on that principle, not another principle. He couldn't establish an ummah on his own principle. He can establish an ummah on the principles of China or Japan or anywhere else. No other philosophy. The principles this ummah had to be established on were the principles that's found in the Quran. So Allah's choice of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam being his messenger is a choice that we have to see as the best choice of all the human beings that existed, that ever will exist. He was the best choice because he was not only a good man before he received Quran. He was a good man, honest man. And so all his society, there was a situation where they wanted Prophet Muhammad to keep their funds, keep records of things when people go out on caravans. He would make notes and keep records of everybody, what they gave him to hold for them. When they came back, everything was there. Honest man. They had wasn't really an argument, but they had a difference. When the black stone fell out of the Kaaba, they was rebuilding the Kaaba. The Kaaba had undergone some, had to undergo some renovation in that it was damaged. So they were rebuilding it. And when they got to the part where the black stone had to be placed back, the argument was, or the discussion was, or whatever debate they were having, it was simple. Who's going to do this? What tribe is going to be honored with this great honor of putting this stone back in its place? And they discussed it. They discussed it in detail. And then they came up with the conclusion. They said, well, look, the first man that walks through the gate in the morning, let him make the decision. They all agreed. And that man was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He walked in. And they not only were surprised, they were surprised in the sense of, oh, it's him. They were surprised in the sense, oh, great is him. They were glad that it was him because they knew he was the honest one. He was more honest than anyone else in their town. So it wasn't a matter of having another man walk in. No, this was the best, they thought. And so they asked him what to do. So he told them, he said, okay, well, after some thinking, get a mantle of cloth, place the rock in the center of the cloth, and each tribe grab a hand of the mantle. Everyone walk up to the Kaaba, and the prophet just guided the cloth into putting the. Now, knowing the history of the Kaaba, if you study the history of the Kaaba and what it meant to the people of that time, even before Islam, this was a sacred place. This was a sacred place, and they would not even begin to entrust someone with this particular task unless they had great confidence in that person. That was Allah's choice. That's his messenger. So we can rest assured. We can feel comfortable. We should be saying, ah, great, it was Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was Muhammad who Allah revealed the Quran to. That's where we should feel in this day and time. Even we might have somebody else in mind. But there was nobody with the characteristics of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in terms of honesty, dedication to do what's right. And this is what he did. And this is why the Quran has come down to you in the form that it has. That Prophet Muhammad did not change. He didn't get in there and change and say, well, I think this is better than this. I think this is better than that. He separated his thoughts, his very thoughts and behavior from the Quran, but he connected them at the same time. He says, my behavior is a response, in response of the Quran. But if you find anything wrong in my behavior relevant to this Quran, you take the Quran first. You take the Quran. You take the Quran over anything else. Any behavior, any saying, any hadith, any philosophy. The Quran is first. And when the Prophet gave his last sermon, he said, I leave you two things. I leave you this Quran and my life example. Two things. Now he didn't say all these other things we got going on today. That wasn't what he left us. He left us the Quran and his life example. That tells you that anytime you have any question about this deen, consult the Quran. Consult the Quran first. And then consult the hadith. And then consult what you may consider somebody you trust in this knowledge, in the general population of Muslims. And then you consult probably the most important thing in the human being, your rational mind. Your rational mind. Your rational mind, remember that Allah created it. When he said, Khalaqa insan, that's what he was creating. He was creating your rational mind. He was creating the intellect that would strain itself, the intellect that would guide itself to come to some logical conclusion of whatever existed. That's what the intellect is for. It's to bring logical conclusion to something. And every human being should use it because Allah created it. I know you might hear some people say, well, look, you can't go on your own thinking. 9 times out of 10, the reason they're saying that, because they want you to go on their thinking. That's 9 times out of 10. That's why they're saying that. You can't go on your own thinking, brother, because you didn't come from this person. All they're doing is setting you up to follow what they think. If you don't go on your own thinking, then who's thinking you're going to go on? Because you're not going to be able to stand in the day of judgment and say, look, wait a minute, Allah, I went on Shafi's thought. I went on Maliki's thought. I went on such and such thought. It ain't going to happen. It's going to be you, your rational mind, your morals, your consciousness going to be there. You and your respected Imam. And most people understand when we say respected Imam, we're talking about something that has the information necessary to testify. We know that the Imam of your masjid don't have enough information on you to testify. The best thing they can say is, I saw him in Jumuah. They can't tell you where you been or where you went or what you did or how many things you didn't do or did do. They can't do that. So we know it ain't that guy. That's out. Leave that out. That brother's out. Then what is this Imam that Allah is talking about? It's going to be there. Respect the Imam. One point is that Allah revealed Quran to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ for us to follow. And our degree of how well we followed it will testify against us or for us. So there's a great possibility that that respected Imam is talking about the Quran. It's talking about your Quran, the one that Allah revealed to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. That's the one you should have been following. And then there's a complementing understanding to that. And that complementing understanding to that is that when Allah created the human being, He created the human being with taqwa. Taqwa. He didn't say He created the human being with the Quran. He didn't say He created the human being with revelation. He said He created him with taqwa. Taqwa is that nature in the human being that automatically has a devotion to Allah. Now, many times, or to the Creator. Many times that devotion went astray in the ancient history, went astray to images and all these other things that man has been prone to worship. But it was created in man to worship. It was created in man so man would fear the thunder and lightning. That thunder and lightning created in us a fear, a taqwa, developing the taqwa. Now that same taqwa is the taqwa that your mother was working with. That same taqwa, before she began to teach you what to do and what not to do and how to put on your shoes and take them off, the taqwa was there. The taqwa was there. And she began to tell you the ways of the world that can develop that taqwa that's in you. So that one day that you would grow up and you would be mature. You would be able to walk in the world on your own 2 feet. That means now that taqwa would have grown to something that can lead the rest of your faculties. That taqwa has grown from that minor respect to a great power. And that power developed your moral consciousness. So the taqwa then forms your moral consciousness, your moral courage, and your moral courage then leads you into the world. Then if it's your moral courage and your moral mind that's leading you into the world that causes you to understand things and move forward, then who is your Imam? Your Imam is your moral consciousness. So on that day, when Allah is judging you, He's going to be judging you and your morals going to be standing next to you. Your moral conscience is going to be saying, yes, he did not do what he was supposed to do. He did not follow the Quran, or he did follow the Quran. That's the only thing that you have, only thing in your existence that can do that. There's nothing else. Your mother, your father, your reverend, your imam, nothing can do that except your own conscience. Because your own conscience has been with you since you've been here. And that's the conscience that Allah encourages to follow the Quran. So with that, we want to take a short pause. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. In keeping with the thought and in closing, this month of Ramadan is the time that you can develop your moral consciousness. That's what it's for. This month of Ramadan, Allah gives us. He could have just revealed the Quran in any month. He could just reveal the Quran in Ramadan. But He revealed the Quran in Ramadan, and in the Quran, He says, during this month fast. Fast when it was prescribed before you, and it's prescribed on you, and then He tells us when to fast. Fast during the entire month of Ramadan. Not eating or drinking anything or involving yourself with your spouse during the daylight hours. What is that doing? That's helping us to develop the power and strength to control our urges. To control our urges. And it's the urges that guide man astray. The urges are what guide man to error. If we control our urges, we won't have any problems. None at all. That's why Allah revealed the Quran. The Quran wasn't revealed just for something you to carry around in a satchel or put on a shelf. No, the Quran was revealed to help man develop the power to control his urges. This is what Iblis evolved from. Iblis evolved from the urge in man. He evolved from the urge in man, because he thought he was better. Iblis comes from the jinn. The jinn is part of man's nature. Prophet Muhammad said, when he was asked, "Oh prophet, do you have a jinn?" He said, yes, his jinn is Muslim. So the jinn is part of our nature. Allah created the jinn. But now Iblis is a form of that. Iblis is a form of that that been start taking an arrogance about it. That Iblis thinks that it knows. It knows what's best. And evolved. And when you read the Quran, it says that Iblis, when he says, "I am better than he," when Allah asks him, "Why you didn't bow down?" he says, "I'm better than he." It's not just saying I'm better than he in the Arabic. It says, "I am the best part of him." That's what that says. It says, "I am the best part of him. I am the part that comes from him that's better than the rest of him." And then, that same Iblis got so arrogant that he became an enemy to himself. He's not an enemy to Allah. That's no contest. But he's an enemy to man. And man is his origin. He would have no space in this creation. The only space in the creation that Iblis has is the fact that man exists. That's the only space he has. He's the enemy, the open enemy to man. Not to the creation, not to Allah, but to man. In order for him to be an enemy to man, man has to exist. It doesn't make sense for him to say he's an enemy to something that doesn't exist. What sense that make? I'm an enemy to space? No. He said I'm an enemy to man because man was existing. And he thought he was better. He was the best part of the human being. So Allah encourages us during this month. Get control over our urges. I think that the saying probably is not only during the day but at night too. You have some possibilities and things you can do at night, but you still should be under the mindset that you're trying to control your urges. You still be under the mindset. You don't have to be the same degree in the daytime, but you still should be under the mindset. Should you be eating like you're at a feast? That's not controlling urges. I know sometimes we get out of hand, and that when it comes time to break the fast, the iftar, we have a banquet almost every day. That's not controlling it. That's just delaying it. That's delaying your urge lays in the background for a minute. And say, I can wait till sundown. I'm going to go to work. When sundown comes, the urge is going to eat up everything you can find. But if we control that eating, even that eating, start eating that we respect the conditions of the weakness in the world, and respect the people in the world who don't have as much as we have, then that control will continue on into the night. Not to the same degree, but it still had the strength to continue on into the night. Now, what better would it be for you to have your urges controlled or not controlled? It's the best way. Allah says in this Quran, pick the best thereof. If it's better for us to control our urges, then we should control them. And this is the time we should do that. This is the time we're in the forgiveness. These 10 days, we're in the forgiveness. You got to have something that Allah is going to forgive you for. Or anybody who thinks they're perfect, they need forgiveness right away. Because that's an arrogant thinking, to think we don't need Allah to help us, to have mercy on us. So this is a very beautiful month for us. Each individual, don't worry about our family even. Your family have to look at it as an individual too. Because your family can't tell whether you're fasting or not, only Allah can tell. You can't tell whether your family is fasting or not, only Allah can tell. But you have an opportunity to pray with your family during this month. You have an opportunity to Taraweeh prayer. You have all the prayers that are not obligatory, but they exist during this time of the month, and you can take those prayers and make them with your family and bring your family closer together. Talk with your family during this month. Bring your family more into a unit during this month. Make up all of the mishaps you had during the year, the little fallout you had with each other. Bring it back. Husband, bring back that feeling with the wife. The wife, bring back that feeling with the husband. The children come together a little more during this month. Build that family unity. We build a family unit during this month, then we will be ready to build a Ummah later on down the line. But it starts here. Controlling those urges. So we thank Almighty Allah for blessing us to be here this day, this Jumuah. And we ask Allah to bless those who were unable to make it and those who had intentions to do good. And we ask Allah to give us the best of this world and of the hereafter and protect us from the fire. Ameen. Comment this night.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله